Hello, everyone. Today with me in Driven by Curiosity, Mauri. Hi, Mauri.
Hi, Oman. How are you, man?
I'm very good. Thank you very much for being with us here. Uh, how about maybe we start, you introduce yourself.
Okay. Thank you. First of all, I do appreciate you, as you know. Appreciate the work that you're doing with your group, with your community. And thanks for this opportunity. My name is Maurizio, but everybody call me Mauri. It's much easier, especially if somebody is not, familiar with Italian. So Mauri is my nickname. Born and raised in Italy, northeast of the country. And I'm right now based in Malaysia, in beautiful Malaysia, in Kuala Lumpur, which is a city that I truly love. And I'm the founder of My Master Man, which is an international platform that supports men through coaching one-on-one or community-based activities. We call them men's circles, so men's retreat. We guide men on regain clarity and purpose and vision in their life. Unfortunately, I guess later on in the talk, we're going to explore much more. Men in general, they are living a time of confusion and struggles. So we support men on redefined values, on embracing without neglecting their own well-being. And it's a beautiful experience. It's been going on for years now. And as you know, I'm very proud of it. So that's in a very nutshell what I'm doing at the moment.
Yeah. Actually, I really like what you're doing. And I attended one of your men's circle before, and I was really astonished. And I like the vibe. I like how people, especially men, share their stories, share their experience, and there are many people from different walks of life, and it gave us like this kind of, you know, there are other people, let's say, struggling with us. There are other people who are supporting us, so the journey feel less lonely. So this is my take was on men's circle. Okay, go.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's all about Oman. Each story, the hero journey, the hero that leave homes and then as the purpose, as a mission, and goes through struggles. And those struggles take the hero in the darkest of the darkest of the darkest of the space. And then after it, if the hero of the story has the courage to face, the darkness without running away, then, the story becomes a successful story. The point is that, unfortunately, it doesn't matter if you're from Syria, Zimbabwe, Italy, Uganda, or Sweden. As men, we are a bit terrorized, literally terrorized when it comes to share. We are so afraid of being judged as weak. Consequently, we keep shuffling down and repressing emotions. And unfortunately, many men, they develop depression or abuse alcohol, drugs, pornography, or gambling or overeating, whatever can give us immediate dopamine. But it's just a temporary relief. We are very good. We're very good at men. If we check worldwide, in the jail, 95% of the jail population in the world are male. Drugs abuse, male. Suicide,
Suicide.
which
Yeah.
suicide. Thanks, brother, for the hunt, because suicide is getting, unfortunately, in the male community more and more and more. Is the first cause of male death in the States. Is not
Wow.
guns, suicide. UK the same. South Korea, Japan, seeing all those first world countries, let's call them, where male are under an immense pressure without any outlet, without a supportive community. Of course, they kill themselves because they have no other options.
I see. I see. We will definitely dive more deeper into that, but I would like also to know a little bit more about your background. So you mentioned you are from Italy. So if maybe you can tell me how did you see Italy from your eyes, like from the way you grow up, like what kind of let's say if you were my classmate, what type of classmate you will be? Are you the funny guy? Are you the clown of the class? Or were you the shy guy, or just give me a little bit about your upbringing.
Beautiful, beautiful analogy. Interesting. So I would say being an extrovert, and most of the time I was the clown. But well, not the clown. I mean, not properly say the clown, but I never was fearful to put myself in front of a crowd. And probably, I'm not sure even was from coming from an ego standpoint. It was just following my personality, and that same curiosity, will to discover things and to put myself out, drove me to experience beautiful things in life, successful in work, financially free as well, and even experience the darkest of the darkest of the time. Because once you're will to experience everything, there are things that probably they take you out of the journey. But once you are young, you have no tools. Going back to your question, so born and raised in Italy, in the northeast of the country, in a city called Padova, which is quite famous actually, a small place, but nearby Venice, university city. So a lot of foreigners coming in. Born and raised on a middle class family. And when my parents, they always show me something important, that it's possible to live in a couple. Means that I've seen my parents always going through a lot of struggles, but always finding the time to support one another. And it gave me a kind of enlightenment when it comes to relationship with humans. Could be a friendship relationship, could be a loving relationship, could be a business partner. But still, when there is the will of having the same target, and we know that we are imperfect, but we are doing the best as we can, and we have a good communication, a relationship can work. And that is something that I give credit to my parents, because probably unconsciously they show me that. Since my 90s, 19 years of age, I left Padova, so a small place, and I moved by myself with, I think I had like back then 400 euros in my pocket, and I moved to England. And that for me was a stepping stone for my journey, because immediately I found myself absolutely comfortable in international environment. I loved the way to be around by people from Middle East, from Europe, from Africa, from the States, from Oceania, and loving the idea of this diversity, which is just an illusion. We are all the same for what concerns myself, but to see these cultures, different religions, and all gathering together with a simple will of enjoying our life and figure it out in our 20s how to live our life. What was the purpose behind it? And my story is a story of a man that, as mentioned, being I always felt there was something more when it comes to there has to be a reason why we are here. There has to be something, some purpose, But again, back then I was so young, so experimenting, I did co-created heavens and I did co-created hells. And there was a lot of up and downs in my life. So it's a story of a guy that was always so full in love with life, always wanted to share his love, but at times I wasn't able to share it. I was carrying a lot of, at times, greediness, at times even anger and frustration. So I had enemies, but those enemies were just within me, and I was reflecting them in the reality. So I started to acknowledge that there was a lot of work to do within me, because I knew that what I was carrying within was a lot of love, but I wasn't able to express in it, and at times was addressed in the wrong way. So I started to ask for mentors. I started to go in a beautiful, deep inner journey. And that guy.
But like, if I may ask, like, what did trigger you to have that realization? Did something happen? Did you have like a relationship broken? Like, why did you? What triggered that? If you got my question.
Absolutely, I get your question. Usually, after traumatic experience, pain and suffering are actually an amazing thing. What I mean is that once we experience pain, discomfort, and suffering, and we are able to detach ourselves, understanding that we are not suffering, we are not the pain itself, we are just experiencing. And so we see the pain and suffering as a beautiful opportunity, even though it sounds weird, but if you pay attention to what I'm saying, it is a beautiful and powerful opportunity to discover where the work has to be done. I'll give you an example personally. I was having enemies in terms of people, always put themselves in front of me, try to to create obstacles. But those obstacles were within me, because once I started to address what was generating that pain and anger within me, and I started to be aware of it, once I had the awareness of that pain, where it was coming from, that frustration, I was able to dissolve that pattern. And believe it or not, like in the most beautiful books of personal development, this can change your life. I experienced it by myself. So the hundreds of books and literally thousands of hours watching podcasts, mentorships, you can change your life, until I did not experience the kind of a miracle that you can really change your patterns by yourself. Then everything started to have meaning. So if I can do it for myself, what if I keep learning, metabolizing knowledge, and then sharing it? Learning, metabolize the knowledge, and then sharing it. And so that man, full of pain, insecurities, me in my 30s, pain, insecurities, anger, frustration, totally good in making money, but that was the only thing, because I was carrying along with me so many demons and darkness. Then I start to see the light, say, wait a second, let me reformulate values, the priorities in my life. And then this amazing journey started. A journey of falling in love with getting to know myself. And when I mean falling in love, Oman, means being able, and it's not easy, but possible, being able to fall in love with the dark side of us. Because we all have the dark side and our light and strength. If we, which I was very good at, we keep sugarcoating and avoiding, not confronting the dark side of us, it won't serve the purpose, because that dark side wants to be acknowledged. There is no any other way to, if we really want to be aligned and balanced in life, to be okay with both of them. And it's very easy, Oman, I guess you can say yours as well, that to embrace our strength, our light is very easy. But when it comes to embrace and accept that we can and we are even the darkness, and then we make a conscious choice not to be and to embody in it, that is the real courage. The courage is not running away. The courage is not to embrace, especially when it comes to men. I don't say toxic, because these things about toxic masculinity, but I would say abusive behaviors to hide your flaws, to hide your insecurities. And men, we are very good at that. They say, if I behave like an alpha male, super, aggressive, doesn't last much, because it's clear that that guy is simply hiding himself. And a weak man, for what concerns myself, then I would like to know from your side, a weak man is a man that runs away from his dark side, because he's so afraid of the confrontation. A strong man, an empowered man, a grounded man is a man that is able to be in tune with his emotion, to question his feeling and understand where they come from and how can I deal with them. Because, Oman, I know that you are amazing when it comes to startups, and in your group, which is very cool. You mentioned a lot, Elon Musk or those mega entrepreneurs, billionaires. But I can bet you that if a private interview like this one with Elon Musk, probably Elon is a guy that he is dealing with his own fears. Because, if you are a man that you made $20 million and overnight you lose them, 90% of the people, they kill themselves and say, fuck everything, I'm not going to do this anymore. But the winners, they sit with the pain, they process the pain, they forgive themselves, they say, you know what, I tried again. So even when it comes to, I do coaching, as you know, one-on-one. And most of my clients are CEO levels or C-suites or leaders, could be from community leaders, business leaders, entrepreneurs. And most of them, they got this kind of assumption that to make money, you have to neglect yourself, neglect relationship. You just have to grind in it, you know. And until your blood tests are so fucked up that you say, but I made the money. Because men are so trapped into fulfilling the role, the archetype of the provider. And now for men, having money means having power. Our ancestors, the strongest man was the one that was hunting more animals, was the one getting the most beautiful woman. Back then, the power was physicality and strongness, you know, and being abilities on hunting. Right now, power is not anymore physicality, it's not anymore charisma. It's about money. You
Money,
can be
resources,
money resources. And that's why all the men are afterwards, but simply because it's our archetype. But I believe that between A to Z, there are a lot of nuances. We can be amazing entrepreneurs, making a lot of money, but still being men of integrity, of values, of compassion. But the society sees a man that is in tune with himself, able to process like they call gay or a sissy boy or whatever. It's a lot of conditioning.
Yeah. There's a lot of to unpack here. So I want to go back when you mentioned that fighting your own demons. So, for example, if let's say I know, like, let's say there's things, my strengths or the things that I'm good at, but I also, as you mentioned, everybody has a dark side. So I might have some qualities that are not good. Let's say I'm a bad temper, for example. Like, I can be triggered very fast. So you mentioned I should acknowledge it. I should accept that, or should sorry if I got that wrong. Or should I try to fix that or find, I think this is what you mentioned, I need to find why I am triggered or why I'm a bad tempered person. That might be something deeper. In its insecurity could be, or it could be something else. It could be something trauma from childhood, or maybe your parents were like that, so you just learned that. Like, this is the example you saw. So how to deal with it? Is it like dealing with it through going to psychiatrist, or what is your answer for that?
Thanks for the question. Wow. Okay. So number one, yes, shuffling down, do not acknowledge the anger is the worst things we can do, because we do not let express it, and we have to honor every single emotion. Example, if you pay attention, which I will suggest you actually from today on, anytime that kind of rush of anger or frustration, just pay attention. What is the trigger? It might be maybe your wife when says that word, or maybe one of your colleagues at work, or simply a behavior. Example, I get triggered when I work with lazy people. I get triggered when I send a message to my colleague and it takes 2 days to reply. So, you know yours, but there is the emotion that we say technically comes into action. Okay, so the trigger comes, you feel the emotion. You are not. Always a suggestion, number one, I feel angry. Don't say I am angry, because I am means that you are embodying the emotion.
Identity.
Very good. You are not the anger, you are not the happiness, you are not nothing. You're just embracing one emotion. So, okay, this is Oman. Okay, wow. I feel anger now. Okay, I'm experiencing anger. And you question it. In psychotherapy, they even suggest you to give a face. For example, I give a face of a beautiful, I don't know why it comes like this, a beautiful woman, curly red hair. And I ask the name, hey, I can feel you, I can hear you. What's your name? Maybe she said Jenny. Okay, so you have a conversation with your emotion. The point is to create a space and detach it from you. Once you have a kind of a dialogue asking, what do you want to teach me? You will see that number one, the intensity of the emotion goes down because we start to detach from it. And once we repeat this action of questioning the emotion, where are you coming from? what are you trying to teach me right now? Most of the time, we have that kind of, it's called hunch. Probably it come up, I'm just assuming as an example, maybe it was your mother, or maybe it was the anger that you still carry with your father, or another male role model you have, maybe the grandfather, maybe the neighbor, or we most of the time, it's called mimicking. We repeat things that for us are familiars. So anger, for example, when it comes to men, most of the time, but it's not like all the time, but 90%, it comes from the father. And because our belief system wants to feel safe, we repeat something that for us is familiar. So our father is a very familiar figure. Consequently, we repeat the same. But detaching from that emotion is fundamental, because once I understand, wait a second, but that reaction, I'm simply mimicking my father, but that is his journey. This is not my journey. I can react, I can choose to react in a different way. And it's like going to the gym. I saw that you are now even pumping a lot. Man, you go to the gym one day. If you work out one day for 8 hours and then you go back home, and
You
for
want
the
to?
rest of 6 months, you don't do nothing, what are you going to gain? Zero, right? But if you go to the gym 5 days a week, 30 minutes per day, you slowly, as I can see you, you start to have more shoulder, more muscle, you feel more confident. The same is with ourselves. When it comes to acknowledge our emotions, we are so impatient that after twice trying to do it, say, you know what? Go to hell. I just keep going my way. We are so patient of being working in companies, businesses, and with people that we don't like it for half of our life, and we don't give ourselves the opportunity to work on ourselves for the rest of our life. It's crazy at times. It's a process that takes time, but again, you feel the anger, for example, the emotion, unpleasant emotion. You create a space between you and the emotion. You question it. Where are you coming from? What are you trying to teach me? And once you acknowledge where the source are, it's much easier to let it go. So if you want to explore, when it comes to you, you have an idea where that kind of anger it comes from, or you are totally blind on it?
You are asking me.
Yes.
Yeah. So I do get angry and frustrated sometimes. Like, let's say, and there are things I can recognize that trigger it. So, for example, in traffic jam, or if I'm trying to express myself and the other person, let's say, not getting it. Like, so this sometimes make me angry. If I want to know the source of it, like, I know my father is like that. Like, he's a bad temper person, and I compare myself between, let's say, 10 years ago or 5 years ago and today. I got better, and letting go things like stop making me anger or uh, triggering that. And to what you mentioned, I stopped also calling myself I'm an angry person, I'm a bad temper person. No, I start to separate myself from that. No, I'm feeling angry. This is something, it's not me. This is something because maybe I saw an example like that and this is what I learned. Or it is just an emotion that everybody need to will have to deal with it, because we are humans at the end of the day. But I need to control how I react. So if I feel angry, I don't need to curse, I don't need to get physical or do stupid stuff. All I need to do is I need to control myself, try to calm myself down, question it as you mentioned, and and try. Maybe I won't be successful every time, but I think with training, maybe I will get better. So this is what. Did I answer your question?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, you did, but
Mhm.
it's a very subtle thing in between. I need to calm down and rejecting to experience the uncomfortable feeling. What I'm saying is this, and it's something that I've been dealing all my life as well. And thanks God, I found a mentor that really has been spending hours with me and keep telling me, when you experience anger, of course, you have to control yourself in terms of not become physical and even your words. But within, do not repressing it. Be with it, recognizing it. As I say to you, that is what has been told me, and I'm sharing with you from a successful mentor which deals with people with serious depression and anger situations. Being with the emotion without repressing it and feel the discomfort without running away from it in any ways is the best things you can do, because it loses the power on you. You gain confidence and you start to feel in control. You start to feel that you are mastering the emotion itself. And it is an important, absolutely important, fundamental shift for men. Because look, women, they've always been doing an amazing work when it comes to processing emotion, simply because historically, as an archetype, the vulnerability of a woman has been always protected, nourished, and accepted. When it comes to men, I guess your father or grandfather or his grandfather, nobody told you, hey, be in touch with your emotions, process them. No, right? Look, we come from two different countries, but the same for me. So men's work are those activities related to mental health well-being, emotional well-being, and physical well-being. That's what we're doing in Malaysia right now. And the acknowledging the emotions and what is going on with honesty, with brutal honesty within ourselves, without running away or having the fear even to judge ourselves, but simply accept and say, okay, interesting what is going on within me. It is quite painful. I wasn't expecting to have these kind of thoughts in my life. Somebody, how many men, they maybe cross their mind to kill themselves or to do crazy stuff, and they are so afraid to accepting it. Actually, dear Roman, the secret is the awareness. Simply observe our inner talk without judgment, but just paying attention. Without judge, because once we judge our thoughts, once we judge our emotions, as humans, we got an ego, so we label them. And we start to say, Mauri, so stupid again. You're thinking this thing, Mauri, you're so weak. You feel sad because you saw a little dog get killed on the street. Actually, there is no good or bad. We are in a constant motions of thousands of interaction emotions. We dream, we are scared, we are super enthusiastic of life, and we get lost. There is nothing bad. But as observer, once we get engaged in the pain and suffering, even in being too happy, is there where the suffering comes. Because once we keep craving to be happy all the time, the craving itself generates suffering, because we cannot be happy all the time. And on the other side, when we are hyper depressed, depression itself is very tricky, because when a person, a fellow brother, or could be a woman, goes into depression, it's such a safe space depression. And it's in the subconscious, it's a way to say to people, hey, I am suffering, I need attention. And so we create that loop of feeling depressed, because suddenly it's a way of asking for attention. It's very tricky. So you see, in both of the extreme, there is always a form of looking for attention. So looking for something, seeking for something is craving. When there is a crave, there is suffering. Because it's like alcohol. You drink a beer, you want to feel more tipsy. You be another beer, you keep drinking. Drinking is always chasing. Same with drugs, same with pornography, same with social medias. It's all dopamine driven, and we keep chasing. And this has no end. And the only end is when we stop a second and we say, wait a minute, am I living in autopilot? And the answer is yes. How can I recognize that? Just pausing a second and start to pay attention of what's going on within in certain environment. And therefore, as you ask very nicely, how can I deal with anger? Simply, I feel in it, I question it. What do you want to teach me? And I can tell you that more you ask it, it will come clear where the anger is coming from. And when you say, wow, I'm mimicking my father, and we say with respect of our ancestor, but that is his journey. This is your journey. And if we live our life carrying anger, frustration, lack of abundance, greediness, shame and guilt from our ancestors, we are not doing a favor to our ancestors, neither to ourselves. So we have to
To
release
our
and give
also
back.
children and the next generations.
Of course, you even a father, absolutely. Because, sorry if I, okay, not talking about you, but let's call him Mark. Mark as a child.
No problem, no problem. Go on.
Okay, I mean, like it or not, your son is looking at you. And as you know better than me, from 0 to 7 years of age, kids, they don't talk much, but they observe. And as you got your trait, as I did, from our parents, same is going to happen with your son. So what I'm saying is that many men, they go through a stage that even when it comes to be to father, to be a father, they don't recognize that unconsciously they are already giving a lot of signals to the kids. Therefore, being a man aware, self-aware, is fundamental not only for the good of the man himself, but for the wife, the kids, because you are a leader. You're a leader of your micro community, which is your family. You are a leader of a bigger community, which is the startup group. You work with people. So once you take care of yourself physically, mentally, spiritually, unconsciously, it's called invisible impact. The people, especially men, seldom will come to tell you, hey man, I can see you in shape, but they look at you and say, fuck, I look, oh man, it's 2 months I haven't seen him. It's skinnier. He has a good aura. He's going doing business. His wife is happy with him. What is he doing? And unconsciously, you are giving out signals to others to take care of themselves. And that's what I believe is life. It's a beautiful, at time conscious, at time unconscious contribution. And you can contribute as you're doing as a startupper, as a men's coach, as a singer, as a dancer, as a poet. We can contribute. Actually, we have to contribute in a way, but as long as we don't have clarity on our values, on how we can express ourselves, and I'm talking about men, of course, how can we contribute? We live in autopilot. As long as we make some money to spoil ourselves and our families, then we feel okay. Because we fulfill. But you know what? The hero that you still carry within, the little child that when he was 5, 6, was wanted to conquer the moon and save the world and flying, in the sky, is still there. Same as mine. Is still there. And same as other little human men, in all the men. The point is that we grow, we start to feel ashamed, we start to feel guilt, we start to judge ourselves, and then the little hero start to be covered with a layer of mud on top, on top, on top. But it's still there, the little hero, warrior, And men's work, what we are doing through, I told you, one-on-one coaching or the community base that you came once at the men's circle, is simply to get rid of that mud, support men to get out and let it go of that armor of stories of pain that he has around, and say, man, we accept you as you are. As you, we all have our insecurities. As you, we all go through and deal with our demons, but you're not alone in the journey, brother. You're here with a bunch of brothers. We are holding space one another. There is no skin color. There is no religion that separates us. There is nothing. We are men. Because whoever is watching us right now, and this guy or man, before to be a father, a businessman, a husband, you are a man, brother, as me. And we both go through the same. So creating this safe space for men called men's circles, men's tribe. We do even men's retreat. We went to outside Kuala Lumpur. It's called Negrin Sembilan, a beautiful area in the forest for 2 days, doing inner work, as we said, sharing sessions, walk in the nature and work out together, archery for mindfulness, wood chopping to release anger, ice bath, cold plunges, which is a beautiful thing. You put yourself for 2 minutes in the water or 0 degrees. Is really challenging. All those activities are simply to create brotherhood. Brotherhood, those are 2 men. As men, as we always feel lonely in our journey because we don't share. So brotherhood is that beautiful power that goes beyond the illusion of separation between men. And two brothers are two men that they might not know each other personally, but they are so strong and comfort in their own skin, they can support one another. And it's beautiful, man. You experience it for once. I've been doing this for 3 years.
The last 4 months, I was very, very busy, but right now, starting from this month, I have more free time. So I'm going to join you guys. Yeah, soon.
Please, man. You know, the group now is getting bigger and bigger. A lot of new guys joining
Nice.
more and more and more. And yeah, that's why I'm so fascinated with this work.
I want to go because the time is a bit limited. I want to go to something you mentioned earlier about how, so it's continuing on the same topic, but it's you mentioned earlier on how, like, the men are facing like the high suicide rate, the depression, the crime, like you have the most people in jail are men and all of that. So can you tell me, like, based on that, like, what is the biggest challenge men are facing, and like how they need to deal with it? So now we're talking about the brotherhood, so maybe we can also touch on that as well.
In my experience, after working literally now with 400-500 men at least, very good. I did few times surveys in Malaysia, in Singapore, and with a lot of foreigners, US, England, mainly England, US, Canada, Europe. Okay, number one is loneliness. Number two, disconnection. And when I say disconnection with themselves, again, once we keep living a life, fulfilling roles that we might not even like it, but to be a man, to fit in the role of a man, being a provider, being with a certain income, etc., men in some way, they are so afraid not to be included in that kind of stereotype that they do the best as they can. And that is the point, that coming from a space of survival and do something that you don't want to do, but you have to, what will happen? In order to survive in that journey, as I said, disconnection with themselves, because we pretend to be someone that we are not. But in order to please others, we say yes when our body says, don't do that, but we say yes, because we are so afraid to be rejected by an individual. Could be a woman, could be a fellow man, or a company, or a group of people, that to please her, him, or them, we are not true to ourselves. So we keep growing up with this kind of anger. Could be one of the sources, say, fuck, I don't want to do this, but I have to. So we feel anger, not with the person, we feel anger with ourselves, because we are not true to ourselves. And therefore, the identity crisis that historically from the 1980s up to early 2000 was mainly 40, 45, 50 years of age men. Now the identity crisis comes already 25, 30, simply because you and me, I'm older than you, we were less exposed to so many informations, can be chatting with a guy in Japan now, now you have unlimited information. Consequently, the youngster, they go in identity crisis and way younger than us, because they see young kids, 20 years of age, like him. But this guy in Dubai just make $1 million US in 3 hours in a meme coin on crypto, he bought a Ferrari, and you are a 20 years of age guy in your sofa in Sugai Boulogne with 20 ringgit in your pocket. How do you think you're going to feel? You feel zero. And when you're 20 years of age, you have no tools to, wait a second, I detach from the emotion. This is not me. No way.
Not
You embrace the emotion, you go out, you drink beer, you snort something, you do something that you say, I cannot bear with this pain. And the younger kids that they cannot really bear with the pains, let me tell you something. In Malaysia, in the past 5 years, this is from the government data, in the past 5 years, 4,400 people, Malaysians, killed themselves. Men, 3,600, more than 85%. And you know what? Between 16 years of age up to 24. Can you understand? So we're not talking about adults, youngster, 16 to 24, because are the ones that they have even less opportunity to talk about, neither in the family, because you are a man, you are two men up, and those are the most sensitive one. So to reply to you, this connection, as I mentioned, we keep pretending to be somebody else. We are not. And then we go in identity crisis. Who am I? Who am I? That's why you see sometimes even some CEOs that are making millions and say, you know what? Ciao. I leave everything. I'm going to live in the desert in Arizona and growing cactus. You know, those are men that they achieve everything in life. By the end of the day, when you achieve the peak, and I had my experience when I was working in Prada in the luxury fashion industry, a lot of money. But when I got them, I say, okay. And then I thought things were going to change. You know, I was becoming a better man. No, the deal is to be a good man and make good money. And then you really enjoy them. But if we neglect everything else just to make the money, we're going to get there. But at what cost? Divorce, losing relationship, fucked it up our body, addiction, whatever you want to name it, you know? So we have to see the values growing as a man, again, connected, man of values, have integrity, you know, and then make money. And that's the best, because once we make the good money, we're a man of integrity. Oh man, you are unstoppable because you are a man that you are able to love, you are able to receive love, you're able to share, you are a beam of light. You're not like a dark light that make me billions, but nobody wants you because you smell of bad energy, you know?
Mm. Interesting. Yeah, it's worth thinking. Another question I have: how do a man or any person can find their purpose? Do you have any input on that?
Well, okay, this is a big debate, you know, about finding
Yeah.
the purpose. The purpose it's a beautiful one. So there's many ways.
Because
The
why
one
I
that
asked this question, because we were talking about we pretending, we sometimes playing a roles that we are pretending to be something that we are not. So I connected that maybe you need to find your purpose first before you are jumping in life and trying things that maybe not fit you. So I think a lot of young men, and even sometimes people at their midlife, they have midlife crisis, they will stop and think, who am I, what I want to be, like I feel lost. So how can these people find their purpose?
as everything, thanks for the question. As everything, love, purpose, vision is not an achievement. It's not that I go from A, where I am now, and I need to go through a journey to get to B, which is purpose or vision or clarity. Like love is not something that we search. We are. The point is we don't acknowledge it because look at this. This is the purpose for the sake of your question. The purpose is just there. We cannot acknowledge it because we don't take the time to get to know ourselves. We don't take the time to stop a second and understand what's going on within us. How can I understand my purpose if I don't even give myself the opportunity to spend time with myself? You know, oh man, I've been working on this for the past years, talking with doctors, as you know, putting myself out, I do activities, I discuss, man. And at times, it seems to me so obvious, and it took me almost 40 years of life to realizing it, that we don't give ourselves the opportunity to be with ourselves. Because I know, Roman, you can resonate with me. In any moment that some unpleasant situation comes within, what we do, maybe take out the phone and let me check what's up. We do it unconsciously, but in a second, we immediately find ways, could be even a book, not to say, wait a second, what is going on? Okay. No, the phone, a good looking girl pass by, you look at a girl or a friend, or you touch here, or we do anything unconsciously to not experience. And if you think, oh man, you know, we won't be here for unlimited times, at least physically, right?
Mm.
How can it be possible that we don't get to know ourselves? And I get to your point. I'm saying that because to me, more I think it's like so obvious. The purpose is just there. How can I understand what I like to do? Which gift I have? How can I serve if I don't get to know myself? So we constantly look for the purpose outside of ourselves. If I buy that car, then I validate myself that I'm a good man. If I have that amount of money, only then I validate I'm a good businessman. If I have that woman, I value enough. You see, it's constantly giving out the power to someone else or somebody else to validate that we are enough. Simply because we don't stop a second to say, you know what, Mauri, you might not have $1 million in your bank account. But you know what? I know that you're doing the best as you can from a space of love to figure it out and get to know yourself. And whatever you learn, because I know you always share it with others for the love of support one another. How can I judge a man like that? But it took me years to get to the point to try to understand, accept my flaws, my demons. And when I say something that I forgive myself, I don't make anymore. So there's a lot of work to do. But how can we live this life, having maybe create a family, maybe profitable business without knowing ourselves? So the purpose is within already. It's like, an onion. Every day we peel off a layer, fear, judgment, um, shame, guilt, anger, hate, jealousy, until, bam, the diamond comes up. And that shows you organically what your purpose is, which is, of course, serving. And again, you have like certain gift that you can serve the community in a certain way. But until you get to know yourself, how can the purpose can come up?
Yeah, I agree with that. That's very deep, actually. But sorry for this stupid question. But then, how do I know myself? What tools I have? Is it meditation? Is it praying? Is it?
Okay, this is a topic which is very fascinating. And who are we? Okay, I can tell you, who is observing your thoughts? There is an observer, right? So somebody is observing your thoughts. Somebody is hearing the voice that maybe says, "Hey, oh man, don't go to the gym today. Eat chips, stay, watch Netflix." Come on, oh man, you're not so good to open a new company. Who is listening to that voice?
Mm, I
Who is
have those voices.
Yeah, of course, me too. We all have. Who is observing? Who is observing your thoughts? That's what you are. It's consciousness. It's consciousness that in this life is expressing you as a man in this life as Maurizio Rosini. So we are consciousness, which is beautiful. Then I know you're Muslim, so I don't know how Islam sees this, but you are soul. I don't know if Islam recognizes soul, but you are okay. So you are a
Of
soul,
course,
consciousness, right?
the God puts the soul uh, in us. So everyone, every human being has the soul from God.
Okay, beautiful. Yeah, beautiful. So
And if
look,
you want to go a little bit spiritual, there is two things like
uh,
in Islam, even not all Muslims know about it. So you have the soul, and you have another thing, which is like the self,
mm,
and there are two different things. So many people confuse the soul with the self. So in Islam, we believe that every living being, whether it's an animal or a human, they were living in the world of selves. And then the God gave them the choice. Do you want to be a human, but you will be judged, or you can be anything else, which human will be resources for the humans, and you won't be judged on the judgment day. So in the Quran, it said, and like we humans, we wanted that. We want that challenge. We want to be humans, and we will be like the God successor on earth, but we will be judged. The price for that if we did good, we will be rewarded by going to paradise. If we did bad, we will have hell. So just to go a little bit spiritual here.
Thank you. Thank you. No, I had no idea.
Mm.
But yes, so, the question is very deep. Who am I? We are pure consciousness or soul, which is observing. That's why, as a human, we came on earth to experience, but it is an experience. So, you see, the beauty, and we go back to the first point that we were discussing together, stepping back and observing thoughts, emotions without attachment. But it's like again, like watching the sky. You're watching the sky, this beautiful blue sky, and the clouds pass by. Those are the thoughts. You don't engage with them. You just listen to them. Okay, interesting, interesting. That's why, for example, it's very successful. Do not believe what your mind says. I have inner dialogues. At times are very funny, especially now that, again, I've been going to my inner gym for many years now. Immediately when a self-limiting beliefs arises, I say, thank you, I hear you, but I don't believe you. Because I know that a thought is simply an opinion. It's not the truth. The point is, let us say, talk about business is your bread and butter. Tomorrow I have a proposal. You send the proposal, the proposal is perfect, it's the right company you want to work with, blah, blah, blah. You send it. After 10 minutes, oh man, what if I miss something? What if maybe they're not going to take me, they're going to reject me? What if they find something better than me? That's the mind. So there are facts and there are opinions. The fact that has been sent a proposal. Everything else that creates pain are simply a construct of our mind. According to the degree that we are able to master our mind, those painful thoughts, they can be massive or they can be small enough that I create the space, I look at them and say, okay, thank you, you forget about. But that comes with exercise. So something that is happening in me, and the results that you can see, a bit of success that I'm having right now in terms of authority, simply because, oh man, I'm a simple guy that is trying to figure it out, but I'm learning to do not trust my mind, not my heart. Heart always. My mind, especially when it comes to self-limiting beliefs, I acknowledge it, as I was sharing with you with the anger. Say, okay, thank you for sharing, but I don't trust you. Because I know the mind always plays a role. Its role is to keep you safe. Therefore, anytime you want to get out of your comfort zone, that kind of discomfort is the ego, the mind that wants to keep you in your comfort zone. And believe it or not, you can read from the Stoics, any biography of the best businessman or woman you can find in the world, they all go through hell to overcome the fear. Because exactly as we said at the beginning, where the pain and the discomfort and the fear is, beyond it, there is your gold mind. You like it, you go through. You don't like it, you're gonna stay, not you. A person stays in his comfort zone and live a life of regrets. What if I had the courage last time to do it? And you know what? The only cage that exists is the only one that this mind is creating. Because, oh man, have I ever stopped you doing any project? Have I ever stopped you telling you you're not enough? Never. The fear that you feel when it comes to put yourself out is the fear that comes from your mind. Same goes for me. Nobody else is stopping us. It's the mind that says, no, stay comfortable, stay safe. Don't do that. And it's an inner game, man. It's just an inner game. And once we play the rule, we learn the rules. Ah, boy, I'm telling you, the guys that we are looking up, they just learned this game before of us. Simply as that.
Yeah,
But we
very
are on
true.
the way.
Very true. And also, a lot of those limiting beliefs, thoughts, they might not be even our thoughts. It might be something your teacher told you, your father, your mother, I don't know, your friend, and you keep repeating it in your mind, and you think, oh, I'm not good enough. I'm not a good in sales. I'm not good in talking. And you are repeating. Actually, it's not even your thoughts. It's someone else's thoughts.
Beautiful, brother. That's perfect. But how can you understand that if you pause a second and you ask yourself, if we keep going without stopping, there will never be a moment of pausing. And when a man pause, then starts the fear. Oh my God, I'm not doing enough. I'm not having enough, right? I don't know if it happened to you. Am I doing enough? If I take an hour to read a book or just to stay relaxed, am I a good father? Am I a good husband? Am I a good businessman? I don't know. I went through a lot of this. I don't know about you.
Yeah.
You know,
I went through a lot of failures and a lot of things. So yeah, similar.
Yeah, it's a conditioning. I think really it's interesting, Oman, because look, we keep chasing money. As we said, money equal power. We chase the new car. We chase the six pack. We chase everything. But the truth is that we chase the emotion that money gives us. We chase the emotion that the car gave us. We chase the emotion of having a beautiful woman with us. If you think about, it's not a car, it's not a woman at times, it's not the money. It's the feeling of security and power of having the money. Because we were living on a tribe, and they taught us that having, I don't know, 10 kilos of stones, you will be the king of the tribe. We wanted to have 10 kilos of stones, not the money, because having those stones will give us the power to feel good. So you see, everything in life is about the feeling. And once we acknowledge that, say, okay, interesting. So it's not the car, it's not the money, are the feelings. So you see, we go back. An empowered man is a man that knows how to master his own feelings. It's not the man that is able only to make money, because once we are able to master our emotion, we're going to make more money, because we're going to be able to act and respond and react in the situations from a space of power, because we know ourselves. Say, I know I can be evil now. You know what? I choose to be the light. And then you become a leader, because people sees you calm, strong, stoic in your approach. Consequently, you have more power, authority, you got better jobs, you make more money. So it's like a way to be happy, to take action. No, my brother, you take action and then you're going to be happy. You see, it's reframing. It's reframing that we need to experience something before of taking action. Same with money. You know, we all deal with a lot of blockages, scarcity mindset that maybe come from the mother. Does money does not go on the tree, or you're not going to be good at making money, all this stuff. It's their journey, simply because their parents taught them the same. Once we recognize that that's a story that we believe simply because we were kids and we didn't know what's the truth, we were just absorbing it. But now we are adults. We say, okay, that's the story that my parents were used to, but that's their story. I bless them. Thank you for everything. I'm going to live my story now. My story is not limited by nobody, because there is no limitation. The only limitation is in their mind.
Yeah. I did experience something similar to that. So these stories, like I remember when I did the high school exam, and I did not score. My score, when the results are out and my score was kind of bad, I thought it's the end of the world. Like I was crying. I literally thought I'm done. My life is destroyed. I'm not going to achieve anything, because this is the stories like my parents told me, like you need to score, otherwise you can't go to university. But now when I look back, that was a big lie. Not like my parents, but life worked in a different way, and I managed to go still to university. Like I had to go to private university, not to the public. But I think a lot of men, especially young men, facing a lot of stress now in school. Like if you see the new school system, it is very stressful, and I think we might have our own challenges. These guys had way different challenges, and they are very stressed.
Yeah.
So I think this part you were talking about, we like, you need to reflect on it and think and differentiate. Is this the story the world telling you? Is it true? You also need to have this critical thinking. But I don't know for young people, do they develop that or they still need some time? But I think at least we need to tell them that.
Yes, and it's beautiful. I'm telling you that my masterman, on the Instagram, and now youngster, they start to reach out to me. But you see, Oman, I tell you from my experience, right? I put so much work on try to understand which message, how to deliver it. I was asking questions and then reciting Stoic quotes. I've been doing so many trials. Only after fucking hell, thousand literally of hours of content, just now after 6, amen. I'm talking about man audience. Amen. I've been watching you for the past 6 months. Never put a like, never put a comment though. But you know what? I feel I need to come to the men's circle as well. So you see, it takes time for a man, and they need to see you to say, okay, this guy seems legit. Maybe some feedback. Then they see 20 guys going to the men's circle, and only then, a man. Just to let you know how strong is the conditioning. Look, the day that I'm going to be in position to invest $1,000 a month on paid advertisements, you will see, man, I'm going to have 100 men at the men's circle because I cannot reach all of them right now. But is more I go out and I talk and I share what we are doing, even especially for women. Women love it because women, they deal with men. And 99.9% of the women, unfortunately, they are or they have been, or they are going to deal with a man abusive, maybe in the family, maybe in the work environment, maybe on the street. And I always say to them that there is not a good man or a bad man, a good woman, a bad woman. There is a man and a woman. But it's being empowered, so self-aware, and living lost in, like in autopilot, just waiting, reacting to the events. Instead of taking control, we just wait and we react event after event. And we go in the darkness because we are totally out of control,
Yeah.
So,
I want to go back to the women, but before that, we talked about those men who are chasing money, chasing things, and it is a lot of time to validate certain things in them. How about the men on the other side? How about the men who, let's say, just drink, gamble, addicted to drugs, porn, whatever, who just like gave up on life? How can we help these people?
Brotherhood, community, be surrounded. Yes, it's so important. Look, today I have a newsletter now on LinkedIn, and it's getting traction. And the many men are by themselves. Sometimes even my clients, the guys come and say, "Hey, man, Mauri, I'm ready to do the work, but I'm by myself." The first thing is to have a journaling. So simple, this and a pen, and jot down everything without judgment. Is not a mind work, is a heart work. Jot down as much as possible without showing to anybody whatever is crossing in your mind. Suicidal thoughts, I want to kill this, I want to do that, I want 1,000, whatever. Just jotting down as much as you can. If you don't have a network of people in your family or brothers that are there for you yet, you use a journal in order to jot down everything. That has been helping massively. It seems so simple, but it helps massively to start to vomit out all the negativity, all the darkness. And then reach out. You can look for a life coach, men's coach, whatever you feel resonance. Could be a good book, or you fell in love with the teaching of one of the mentors on YouTube, but you stick with a good role model. And then you will see, once you start to vomit out, purge yourself from all the insecurities, the negativity, the darkness, organically, you will start to attract the right people will come to you. We start to have more healthy relationships with others. Look, we cannot expect to have healthy relationships with our wife, girlfriends, fellow brothers, mother and father, if we are not able to have a good relationship with ourselves. We keep reflecting and projecting on others. As you remember, my enemies were simply a projection of the enemies within. What I'm saying is this: if I'm not compassionate, loving, understanding, forgiving with myself, how can I be loving, forgiving, and compassionate and kind with another fellow human? It's not impossible. So you see, we go back to the same. The inner work is not an optional. We came on earth to do this work because everything else is a byproduct. More we get to know ourselves, more the purpose arises because we clean up. And then we follow our purpose. Is there where the money comes effortlessly because we are doing what we are meant to do. The beautiful partner we are looking for, maybe to have a family, comes organically because we are in tune with the person that you say, who am I? Who you're supposed to be. So it's amazing how to, once we work on ourselves, even if we are alone, and I can tell you hundreds of stories like that of guys joining the men's circle totally alone. And they start like this. They had no network. They join the men's circle, and they say to our guys, I say, okay, just start journaling. And then organically says, Mauri, you cannot believe, I start to have better relationship. Now I start to have few friends coming in. They hold my space. I hold the space for them. We have honest conversation. And joining the men's circle is a little commitment. It's 1 hour and a half a month. There was, I don't say the name, maybe he's going to watch us, amazing man, local guy. He came to the men's circle since the very beginning. Wife living in the UK, so long distance relationship, and he was having a bit of toxic relationship with the mother, very abusive, very strong personality. Until a day after 1 year and a half joining mainly all the men's circles, we had a kind of farewell. We were having a cigar, and he came close to me and said, "Hey Mauri, you have really no idea how it's been helping me coming to the men's circle. I was able, and I say with the literal word, to get rid of my shit, to have an honest conversation with my mother. We apologize one another. Now I have a good relationship with my mother. And 6 months later, he was able to sort it out his business, make more money, and go and live with his wife in the UK. And it's something that I will never forget because I was almost so touched. I was almost crying to say,
Yeah,
fucking
it's
hell.
very rewarding. Yeah.
Man, this is everything. But I tell you more. I didn't let my ego comes in. Ah, Mauri, you are special. No. It was just pure love because that's my purpose, man. I don't let the ego say, ah, Mauri, you are special. No, I say, God, thank you. I
Thank you.
finally find my purpose,
Yeah.
because it's so natural. It's so beautiful. And I know I'm meant to do this. You know what I mean? So I was not looking for the purpose itself. I was working on myself, and the purpose came up. I hope I replied to your question with a story.
Yeah. Amazing. It's a great story actually, and yeah, I can sense also similar thing because I like few students reached to me because they had some competition, and I guided them. So during their pitch deck, they need to pitch their startup idea, and I help them as much as I can, give them some points, and after a few, I think days or a week or so, they sent me a message. We were like number 2 in the competition, and I was touched similar to you. So I can feel you. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, man.
I know we took some time, and you might have something else after this. So I'm going to end up with this. So we talked about women. You mentioned that women dealing with men, but also like let's take it from different angles. So women dealing with men, that means we need better men so they can deal in a better way with their women, whether it's their family, their wives, their co-workers, whatever. But at the same time, there is this, about feminism, and they're talking about toxic masculinity. They always say that men has privilege, and especially they will say white men has privilege. But do you think men are treated fairly in the world?
Well, Roman, okay, that's a topic that we can, if you like, we can have an entire podcast.
I know.
Just to make it very shortly, I mean, for centuries, thousands of years, women have been always physically, emotionally, spiritually abused. you know. And
Abuse. Mm.
it's that's the truth. Simply because back then, of course, if it's taking time to man in 2025, we are in the incredible society, everything, there are endless possibilities. Just now, man, and I can tell you worldwide, is they are coming to say, wait a second, I might to address something, I need to be more aligned, and question themselves. If you and me, we were women, we will be carrying thousands of of history of repression. So of course we want to knock at the door, and say, hey, what about us? The point is that now women are trained to be men, so are trained to. So it's very tricky what is happening, because it's not that we are going back to the archetype, respecting each one role and nourishing one another. We are now giving the opportunity to women to become men. You know what I mean? Men in terms of seeking for power. So we are giving women the developing the masculine energy. I don't know you, but I can tell you in a second when a woman is in a feminine or masculine. I can look interviews of right now of 100 CEO women. They look like men, like this, because they don't become CEOs with the beauty and femininity, creativity of a woman, because they have to fight up their ladders. They become a man. You feel what I'm saying?
I got you mean. Yeah.
So it's a beautiful thing. Don't get me wrong. Actually, I'm absolutely to nourish, protect, and support women. Absolutely, because we are different but compatible. But now in the society, because it's the opposite, they are becoming men. So we're gonna have two men, and the archetype there has to be man and woman. Because once we confuse the role of a man of a woman, it's very dangerous. These things about he, her, she, it's all political attack to the identity of human beings. And you know why? Because when a human being is confused, am I a he, she, him, or them? You can govern them, you can manipulate them very easily, because people are so confused. So long live to the rights of women, long live to the rights of men. The point is how we can have a compassionate understanding. How can we understand where there are the strengths and limitations and work on them without projecting one another? You've been abusing me, or you are less than me. But work together on the same team. That's the work that has to be done. So when women, they do their own inner work, and men, they do the other inner work, and we take ownership of what's going on within, that's beautiful. That's why they call it conscious relationship. When in a couple, he and she, they do their own work, there is no projection and blaming one another. It's taking ownership, and then they have an honest conversation. That's what supposed to be, between men and women.
Yeah, I think you put that in a very beautiful way. And I think just I will add on what you've said. I think the relationship between men and women, a lot of times, like especially from the feminist movement, they think it's like a 50-50. Like we have to be equal. It has to be like a kind of 50-50 relationship. But I don't know. I believe, like, and this is what I advise my students. In any relationship, whether it's business partnership between two men, two women, men and a woman, whatever, any type of partnership, romantic, business, it cannot be 50-50. So if it's 50-50, and this is why people will have disagreement and fights, because they will think, I've done my 50%, why you have not done your 50%? But I think a successful relationship, it will work like this. I will tell you, today I can't do 50. I can do only 10. So you will pick up 90. Maybe in the next day, you tell me I can only do 20. Then I will pick up the 80%. And if we have that kind of rapport and that kind of understanding, that relationship is going to work. So it is never 50-50. What do you think of that?
Well, I like it. I like it, absolutely. But the main point of what you're saying, which I love, is the communication part. When there is an honest communication, without, as we said before, projecting and blaming others. Hey, brother, look, today I won't be able to say, okay, no problem. I'll take the 80%, but there is a communication, there's giving and
Of
taking.
course.
There is not assumptions, there's not projections. So it's honest. There is so much need, Oman, in the business environment, in the relationship, in the community, of spaces of honest conversations without the need to show off, without the need to pretend, just to show up and be there, be brutally honest. I find so much beauty, so much courage, so much stoicism, even from a woman or a man, to be authentic without the fear to be judged. Because you know what? Whoever is judging you for what you're doing, you have people judging you. I have a lot of people judging me.
Yeah, absolutely.
But those judges, they just judge to fulfill their ego and say, I'm in the position to judge Oman or to judge Mauri because I am better. But because they don't acknowledge that they have their own journey. So being authentic, even to the people that they judge us, will come a time that they say, you know what, I've been judging this guy for a long time, but at the end of the day, I don't show to the others, but I feel the same. And again, invisible impact. I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid. More we're gonna do, more we expose ourselves. You're gonna have people that say, wow, I like his mission. And people say, he's just doing it for the sake of popularity, or he's just doing it for show his face. I don't know. But I don't care. Because I'm not gonna let the gift that has been given to me not to be utilized, not to be shared, because my mind is projecting or somebody's judging me. No, thank you, man. I have one life. And I know that I'm coming from a space of love, and I go all the way in. You can judge me, I don't care. I keep going. And I hope you too.
Yeah. Well, I think that's very amazing thing you shared with us. I want to ask you to tell people how they can find more about you, about Men's Circle, if you can share about it.
Absolutely. Thanks again for the opportunity. I will love if you resonate with what we are saying. Either though you're a fellow brother, you are most welcome to join. If you're based in Malaysia, easy. If you're based abroad, Zoom, as we are doing, very easy to connect. If you're a woman that you resonate with our work and you want to share this with a fellow man in your family, maybe your husband, your boyfriend, you can reach out to me on IG. Very easy, is at my.master.man, my masterman, or www.mymasterman.com. And reach out to me. I will be more than happy to showcase what we are doing, and will be actually great to connect with you all.
Thank you, Mauri. We will put the links in the description and on the screen so people can reach out to you. Thank you very much for being here today. Thank you for all your efforts, for everything you do for men, because not many people care about men, and you are doing a wonderful job. So thank you very much, Mauri.
Thank you, man. Thank you. You know that I appreciate you. Good luck for your business. And in God's will, what you feel, come enjoy the Men's Circle again. Last time was nice when you joined. Thank you, everybody, for watching.
After Ramadan, I'm joining. All right. Thank
Enjoy,
you.
brother.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Have a great day. Bye.
Ciao.
Bye. So I will stop the recording. I think it went well. What do you think?